What is up, profitable, purposeful entrepreneurs? Have you ever had one of those synchronistic moments that just sort of came up behind you like a swift kick and the you know what? Well, today that happened, and it reminded me of something that I had been meaning to share with my audience, with you, and today I knew was the day I had to share it. So go and listen to the podcast now, because I'm going to discuss one big thing that can just crush your journey and crush your dreams, and the second big thing that it can accelerate you like jet fuel to the next level. So those two things are going to be covered in our podcast today. So happy I could share you. So happy for that synchronistic kick in the rear end to remind me. Talk to you on the other side. I spent the last few years building a successful online business while learning from some of the most brilliant marketing minds and coaches on the planet. And now, I've walked away from that business to start over again from scratch. Why? Because, like you, I felt the calling of contribution and the all-consuming need to create a business giving me the freedom to put fatherhood and family first, while fulfilling my calling to share my expertise in order to serve and impact others in a positive way. Join me now as we walk the path together to create the life and business of our dreams. I'm Evans Putman. Welcome to the journey of the profitable, purposeful entrepreneur. What's up, everybody? Evans here. Funny how things work out sometimes, right? Funny how things work out. I had this idea. I keep a swipe file with different ideas for what I want to talk about in the podcast as I make this journey. And something I had in there was, it's hard to make this journey alone. It's hard to make this journey alone. And that has to do with being an entrepreneur. Maybe you're working out of your house, maybe you go to coffee shops, wherever. But the reason that I'm going to talk about this topic today is that I was listening to a Marketing Secrets podcast with Russell Brunson, and he brought up almost the exact same thing. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, synchronicity, it's time to jump in and discuss this topic with my listeners. So just real quick, here's the deal. I want to give you a little story. Probably 16, 17 years ago now was when I started one of my first real online businesses. Even before that, when I was a personal trainer, I jumped at the chance to grab this guy's software that would help me train my clients online. And when I say software, I'm talking about, it was like a website with little cartoon people on it. You know, it wasn't animated anything. It just had diagrams of people doing exercises. But I saw it as it was a big aha moment for me at the time. Like, oh my gosh, I can finally go from trading hours for dollars to leveraging some of my knowledge and getting some of my clients online. So my whole thought process was, I'll start training them, I'll work with them. And then one of my philosophies back then, it's the same philosophy I have now when I work with clients, is that I don't want to be there to hold your hand 24/7. I want to give you a foundation, give you the knowledge, give you everything you need to be successful, and then sort of turn you loose and let you go out there on your own and do it. And that's just sort of a philosophy I've carried all the way from being a personal trainer all the way up through my whole entrepreneurial journey. And that was awesome. Okay, so then fast forward a little bit after that, cartoon personal training, online training thing, because I was still working in gyms and still around people all the time. But fast forward a little bit, and I made a move, had something happen in my life that just changed a lot of things for me. Maybe we'll cover that one day. But I was taking a break from personal training. I'd moved to a new city, and I was like, I'm just going to take a break because I can always jump back into that game anytime. I was confident I could start making money. It's not something I was worried about. So I took a little time, and all of a sudden I discovered a new software that would give me the easy ability, because I was not a website builder type guy, to create an online business. And this is before ClickFunnels. This is way before a lot of things, even before Facebook. And so I started with this other journey where I built a golf vacation site. And basically, it was almost like an affiliate type deal where I built out tons of content, tried to rank really high for Google keywords, and in return, I partnered with companies. I had one company that did online tee times where people could book tee times, and I'd get a few pennies on the dollar for those. And then I had another company that booked golf vacations. And so basically, I became a virtual salesperson for this golf vacation company, and I would go out to my mailbox and there'd be a check for $500. And I'm like, holy mackerel, this is working. But what wasn't working was the fact that I was stuck in a new place, didn't really know a lot of people my age, and I was in my office 24/7 working on this site before Facebook, before social networks, so I just didn't even have any contact with anybody. This was actually, the only contact I really had was going into the forum for this company. I don't know if there's any of you guys actually remember forums. I don't know if they still have those or not. But you could go in and ask questions like, hey, I'm having problems with my headline not working right. Or, hey, does anybody have any ideas for how to market my site a little bit better? You know, things like that. But there was really no human interaction. And that's what Russell Brunson touched on today, how important it is for entrepreneurs, because we might think everything's going great. And I really enjoyed working alone at the time. But what I didn't enjoy was when I hit a roadblock, when I had maybe a week where things just weren't going so good, and you don't have anybody to talk to confide in. You don't have an accountability partner. You don't have another group of entrepreneurs around you to help you out. And that's really important. And that's one reason why I'll tell you now, actually, I would encourage all of you to get into some type of group coaching program. And it's something I'm going to be focusing on moving forward. I'm in one now, but to create some group coaching around my clients and customers, because I know how important it is. And I want to read you something real quick that just touches on that. This is from a book that I'm reading called You Are Here, Discovering the Magic of the Present Moment. It's an excellent book. It's a short read, but I'd really encourage you, if you're looking for mindset and mindfulness and being able to overcome fears, which we all have as entrepreneurs, making these journeys into new lands that we've never been to before. So here's what it said. When we're talking about group coaching or just being around other people to help you out, to support you, to share your journey with you. One of the reasons I created this podcast, I'm not looking to do anything except for share my journey with all of you, to let you know that it's okay to fail, to be afraid, to the things you're going through, I'm going through too. So you sort of, even if you don't have contact with me personally, you do see that there are other people going through this, and there can be power in that. So here's what it says in this book, something that I saw the other day, it just stood out, and I highlighted it. It says, we have bricks of suffering in us, and without a boat, we are in danger of sinking in the river of suffering. If you throw a stone in the river, it will sink. But if you have a boat, you can transport tons of pebbles and stones. So if you have a boat, so as entrepreneurs, we need a boat. That's one of the biggest benefits I'm getting right now. I'm in the 2 Comma Club X coaching program through Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels, and just having the support of these other entrepreneurs, just seeing these other entrepreneurs and the things they're going through and the successes they're having, you know, maybe the failures that they're going through, having people to reach out and discuss things with. It's amazing. And some of these people they're steps and steps, miles and miles ahead of me in their journey. Some of them have already crossed the $1 million mark in a year. They've made, you know, I think we have somebody in there that's made probably close to 10 million a year. And there is something to be said about being around those type of people. There's something I read called proximity is power. Being close to these people has lifted me to new levels much quicker than I ever would have achieved before. And it's something you can do too, and I would highly recommend it no matter what you're doing, even if it's local. If you have a local group of entrepreneurs you can get with and meet on a regular basis to talk about what you're going through, to hear about their success stories, to find a mentor in that community. That's the amazing thing about the group that I'm in now. There are mentors in there. There are people that I'm able to help that are below me on the journey on that path. Not below me as far as below me, but I'm talking about if we're climbing a mountain and I've already gone through some of that rough terrain on the way, they may be behind me and I can say, hey, this is what I did to get through it. You should do this and it'll make it a little easier. So there's that. There's the proximity is power. Being around these people, just the network, the community will lift you up, will speed you along your journey much faster. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. So there's really 2 points in this. There is the isolation factor, which can be very real when you're an entrepreneur. Even if your family members understand what you're doing, your friends know that you're an entrepreneur. If they're not in the business, if they're not in that whole game, they're not really 100% understanding what you're going through. They can be there to support you, but they can't really support you the way that some of these other people can that have walked in your shoes, that are walking side by side with you, that are going through that rough time with you right then and there, that are celebrating with you at certain times on this journey. There is something really to say for that. So really find yourself a support system, because isolation in this game can kill you, especially when you hit an obstacle or you have some failure or some fear, because those things are hard to overcome by yourself. And you can really leap those hurdles much quicker if you're around a group, if you have a group that you're a part of, group coaching, if you're in a network, whatever. And the second point is proximity is power. Remember that. One thing real quick to touch on that again before we get out of here is Funnel Hacking Live, the event I went to just recently. I was able to sit in a specific area with my 2 Comma Club X coaching group. And that was awesome, because up until that point, I hadn't really met a lot of them in person. And I started to reach out and meet people in person and really feel a connection and a community. And we've almost become like a family. It's amazing. When we go to these things, we haven't seen each other in 3 or 4 months. We see each other and it's like you're reuniting with your family. But here's the cool thing. Not only was I sitting with that group, I made it a point to sit every day in the first 4 or 5 rows on the outside, right next to the walkway area, whatever, I can't think of the word right now, but my seat was right on the aisle. That's the word I'm looking for, aisle. So next to me in the section right in the middle was Russell Brunson's inner circle. These are people that pay a lot of money and they make a lot of money and they're very, very successful. They're very, very giving. They're very, very serving, which is really amazing in itself. But I think there's only 100 of them in the inner circle at any time, and they can be in there as long as they want. It's a lifetime thing, so they don't let anybody else in until you reach a level of success or if somebody leaves, or because you have to be both. But I made a point to sit every day right there. So I wasn't rubbing shoulders with them. I wasn't in their group talking to them, but I could look over to my left every day and I would see Alex Sharfin, an amazing, amazing entrepreneur and giver. If you don't know about Alex, go check out his Momentum podcast. He's an amazing guy, and I was lucky enough to have him as a coach last year. There was Liz Benny over there, a very, very well-respected entrepreneur, I believe out of either Australia or New Zealand. I can't remember which. I could name a lot more. I mean, it was everybody that I've sort of looked at. Myron Golden, who is now a coach of mine. I'm so blessed. But these were people that have achieved a high level of success. And I made it a point to sit there with them, next to them, even while in my group, and I wasn't really a part of their group, but just to sort of soak in the aura of the inner circle, because I knew that proximity is power. I understood that already. So find yourself a group, find yourself some mentors, find yourself a network The last thing I want you to do is to feel lonely, to feel isolated as an entrepreneur. And if you ever feel that way, always, you can reach out to me. You can just email me at evans@evansputman.com. That's EVANS at EVANSPUTMAN.com. Reach out to me. Find an accountability partner. I'll be glad to help you through anything you're going through if it's something that I have been through and can help that. Otherwise, I'll point you in a different direction to somebody that can serve you in the right way. So let's stick together. Let's make sure we're building a community of purposeful, profitable entrepreneurs, and just go out there and let's kick some butt today. So that's all I wanted to talk about. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting ready to put together some slides. I'm actually going to be drawing today, putting together some visual slides. I just finished a book, or I'm in the middle of a book called Draw to Win. Draw to Win. Go check it out if you haven't yet. It's awesome. And I'll touch on that subject at some point too, because there's some really cool stuff I'm learning in there. And believe me, my daughter will tell you, I'm not the best artist in the world, but I'll tell you this, I'm not afraid to draw and put my pictures out there, even if they're stick figures, buddy. So I appreciate all of y'all. Have a great day and find yourself a group, get supported. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Talk to you guys soon. Hey, all my podcasting entrepreneur friends, this is Evans. Listen, I got a question for you guys. What is the big result you want with your podcast? It could be many answers. Is it to rapidly increase your subscribers? Do you want to attract top tier guests, the biggest names in your industries? Maybe you want to grow a large, engaged marketing list, an email list, Facebook Messenger list, maybe a Facebook group that is full of people who eagerly await you to come out with new offers so they can snatch them up because they know and trust you, right? Maybe it's you just want your podcast to deliver predictable income and profits without having to run ads from other companies. Well, here's the thing. The last company I was involved in, the one that I left right before coming here, I was in charge of growing that podcast and coming up with strategies just like those that delivered results just like those. We quickly got to over 4 million downloads. We averaged 150,000 plus downloads a month. And that all started at being stagnant at around 30,000 downloads and had been there for like 6 months. So we quickly grew that subscriber base. Once we did that, we were able to leverage that to get people like Grant Cardone, Robert Kiyosaki, Dean Graziosi, Barbara Corcoran, John Lee Dumas, Hal Elrod. Those are some of the people I know off the top of my head that were on the podcast. And what's even more important is we were able to then creatively come up with assets that we didn't even have to spend money and time to create, and use those assets to be able to build a marketing list in both emails, Facebook Messenger, and a massively engaged Facebook group. Okay, and these things were full of our listeners, people that trusted us, they loved us, they became customers. They were hyperactive buyers is what we like to call them, because when they bought again and again and again, all your upsells, all your downsells, everything you were selling practically. And the awesome thing is that we were able to turn this into predictable, profitable income. Over 500 grand in revenue from the podcast. And we didn't run any Facebook ads. We didn't have to spend any money on ads. We didn't have any outside companies placing ads in our podcast. This was all our profits and all true to our vision with our listeners. So I put together an awesome course on this. I'm building it right now, but you can go get on the wait list and get one of the biggest, most important modules for free. I just want you guys to have that as long as you get on the wait list. It'll be launching it is launching the week of May 20th. So go on and go there right now. It's onepodcastaway.com. ONE podcastaway.com, where you can learn more, watch a testimonial from Pat, my former business partner, about how we grew his podcast, and just learn more about what's offered in this waiting list offer. This is a limited offer for just a few people who come over there and get on it in the next couple of weeks, because at that point we'll be launching the full course. But I want to make sure that I take care of you guys first and wanted to let you all know about it. So onepodcastaway.com. Go check it out. Shoot me a message if you have any questions. Come into the Facebook group. Find me online on Facebook. You can always email me at evans@onepodcastaway.com if you have any questions about the course, anything at all. I look forward to helping you guys grow your podcast and making money from your podcast for your business. Thanks a lot. Peace. Have a great day.